Hello there everyone, and welcome to our Week 9 assignment introduction video. In this video, we're going to go through how I would start both of these programs. Uh, and I say this frequently, but there are lots of different ways to do this, so don't feel like you have to follow this by any means. Okay, so this week we're still on repetition, just like last week, and we have two more programs. Write a defining table in a program to print the 5 times table from 1 to 12 in this format. Well, that's like the shortest prompt we've ever had for an assignment. All right, so I'm going to split my screen here. I'm going to copy my template into a new file and save it. And let's see, we're in week 9 now. So this one is 5 times table. Okay. I'm going to change this template function name to get 5 times table. I'm going to delete this. We don't have any input. Okay, so let's do our defining table. I don't think we have any input. Okay, we're just going to print it a 5 times table. So 5 times table will be the output. And then our processing. Okay, so let's see. We are going to have to loop from 1 to 12 inclusive. So I'll just say loop from 1 to 12 inclusive. For each loop, we're going to have to not only do multiplication, but we're also going to have to do some string concatenation to make it print out like this. Okay, so I'm going to say multiply I, short for iterator, by 5. Print string of this multiplication. Okay, and this can actually be one line of code. You could put like 5 times 1 equals all in a string, and then add I times 5. And then we would just print that every single time, and then our output would be a 5 times table. Okay, in this format. And I'll just copy this in here just so we have it. All right, so there is our defining table. Okay, so let's see here. We don't have any input. I can take that out. Run function, I'll change to show me my 5 times table. And let's run it. See what our program looks like up to this point. Show me my 5 times table. We don't need this temp paragraph. If I hit this button, we get our output text, which isn't going to be output text for long. So in here, we will have our processing. All right, now, as nice as it would be to just print every time we loop through, we might not be able to. So maybe we should declare a message string and then add to message string. Add to message string. Okay. So then in here, I might want to put something like message, just as an empty string, and then I'd have my for loop. Okay. And then in this for loop, I might want to say something like var current string equals 5 times 1 equals 5 times I. Okay, and that would get me that. The only thing is if I'm going to add to this thing and only add to this variable and only output this once to be printed to the page, then I might need something to put a break in here. I'll probably need to put a break in here to show that. And I'll just have my loop going, add to the message every time we loop through with something like this, and then just print that at the end of it. Okay, so that's how I'd start my first assignment. The next one, it says write a defining table in a program to print all powers of 2 from 2 to the 0th up to 2 to the 31st inclusive. In other words, your program should output this series. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be outputting another massive string. So let's go ahead and copy this template and paste it. And we'll name this one assignment 2 of week 9. And this one will be powers of 2. Okay. Don't need a header or an input again. We just need to run this function, which will be show me powers of 2. For our button label, don't need a paragraph. We will have an output div. I'm going to hit Control D to highlight both of these, and I'll change this to calculate powers of 2. No user input. And then for our processing, let's work on our defining table first. So no input. Okay, we're going to loop. Looks like a total of 32 times. And get power of 2, or 2 to the power of I, 2 to the power of I, and add that to message string. Okay, to be able to add that to a message string, we're going to have to declare a message string that we can then output. Powers of 2 message. Okay. And then in here for the processing, we know we're going to loop through 32 times. So if I said for I equals 0, while I is less than 32, that would do it. Or I could say less than or equal to 31, and then I plus plus, and then loop through and figure out how I'm going to do that. We know that to get the power of I, we could just say I times I times I times I, 32 times, but that's kind of dumb. Thankfully, JavaScript has made a beautiful math object that can handle stuff like that. So if you didn't see it in the chapter, go look for this string. I'm pretty sure we can search for that in here. Well, actually, that isn't in this chapter. But you can Google this or look in a previous chapter to see this. Okay. But the pow function is part of the math object in JavaScript, and that will help you here. Okay. And that is how I would start these 2 assignments. So if you have any questions this week, just let me know while you're working on these, and I'll look forward to talking with you guys soon.